You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Welcome to another edition of Corporate Events. I'm your host, Amita Prasad Webb. Today we bring you the SEBI Closeout event right here at the Venetian at the Terra Nova Hotel. Please stay tuned for highlights.
We're celebrating 6 years of sector development and social enterprise excellence led by the joint USAID and JN Foundation initiative, SEBI. With our sector founders, champions, stakeholders, bi-social consumers, and social enterprise practitioners. Take this journey with us from 2012 to 2018 to see how the triple bottom line of people, purpose, and profit approach to business is changing the face of entrepreneurship and social development in Jamaica, one community at a time.
The JN Foundation made a very conscious decision to address a specific problem within the social sector, which is the inability of social organizations to effectively deliver their core services. After years of seeing social interventions discontinue due to a lack of funding and understanding the changing global landscape in which grants and donations are being reduced to this region, former General Manager Safri Brown designed the Social Enterprise Boost Initiative. In 2012, the JN Foundation partnered with USAID to introduce and formalize the social enterprise model. SEBI's goal was to assist organizations operating within the social sector to become income generating and self-sustaining whilst addressing social, environmental, cultural challenges. SEBI proved that social enterprises can become viable businesses through targeted support services such as capacity development training, mentorship. A number of our enterprises were assigned mentors, equipment support, and networking to some 35 social enterprises in business incubator and accelerator programs. The enterprises over the period of SEBI were able to generate over $186 million and employ on a part-time and full-time basis over 500 persons. They introduced innovative products to the market, and some experienced phenomenal growth over a relatively short period of time. The impact of SEBI also reached over 100 additional social organizations that participated in the open network activities. Among our outcomes were inclusion of persons living with disabilities. At least 20% of social enterprises in the SEBI incubator and accelerator programs were either owned or operated by persons living with a disability. The partnership between JN Foundation and USAID has created what is now an emerging social enterprise sector. There is enthusiasm about using business as a force for good, which has been at the foundation and the heart of the JN brand. The Social Enterprise Boost Initiative, which was a partnership between Jamaica National Foundation and USAID, has ended today. For us, we are very proud of the pioneering work that we have done in terms of introducing this new form of business model to social organizations where they can move towards become more self-sufficient. Today we really recognize the enterprises that stuck through the program, the enterprises that made significant improvements. Enterprises like DEFCON, Educators, Inspire 365, Brescia, Bunkers Hill. The JN Foundation has really always done things differently, not afraid to take on new areas, new ideas, and SEBI, social enterprise, was another testament to the kind of innovative work that the foundation does.
So talk to us about SEBI, how it came about, and what was happening at the time for it to, or why people felt that it needed to come about.
The reason that we designed SEBI was as a response to these kind of ongoing needs of organizations across Jamaica for funding. And JN Foundation had tested the social enterprise model through the source in 2007, done a number of them across the country, and were able to show that social enterprises were a real tool for community development, and then responded to these organizations that needed funding, that we couldn't provide enough funding. We just didn't have enough money to constantly be able to say yes. And instead of just sort of being sitting ducks and responding with no's, we can't help you, we decided to develop SEBI as a real tool for organizations to figure out a different way to become sustainable. We saw this as a growing risk and a growing threat for the voluntary sector in Jamaica. And so SEBI was as a direct response to that threat to make sure that we provided a different opportunity for organizations before they sort of ran out of steam, ran out of funding, and closed their doors. And so this is what we had in mind when we designed SEBI. We applied under the Development Grant Program 3 with USAID and started the project in 2012.
7 years later, we're now at your closeout event, which is a big deal. What are your thoughts and personal feelings?
I mean, you know, SEBI has been extraordinary. From where we started with the source back in 2007, I remember everybody looking at me and somebody telling me you're talking mumbo jumbo when I said something about social enterprise, to today where everybody understands and knows what that is. And that, you know, there's so many different organizations in the space now, which is really exciting. And so for me, it's really just about, you know, very proud to have created this framework where organizations can choose what they want for themselves, but there is an avenue for that. And yeah, just really proud of the accomplishments of the team. We had a great project manager in phase 1, Jennifer Sharia, and Opal White in phase 2 really took the project to the next level. And so we're really, really proud of them. And then we couldn't have done this without USAID and their contribution over the years.
And that was the first segment of the SEBI closeout event. I hope you still be here when we get back from break. We have more. Please stay tuned.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV. Welcome back to the SEBI closeout event right here at the Terra Nova Hotel. We go straight to stage.
Over the last 2 years, this social enterprise has grown their employee base by 10 times, added 11 more outlets to their distribution channels, and increased their annual revenue, as you heard before, from $4 million to $13 million. So help me welcome Social Enterprise SOCENT 28 awardee for growth, Team Def Can. Come on up. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the SOCENT 2018 awardee for innovation, Educators JA. And the SOCENT Award for Inclusion, Superior Craft, and more. And next, the SOCENT Award 2018 for Rural Generation. Next Step Lifelong Educational Services. The SOCENT 2018 Media Champion, Ralston Hyman. Thank you so much, Ralston. Come on up. And the SOCENT 2018 Public Sector Champion, Charmaine Brim of the Planning Institute of Jamaica. Thank you for your passion. The SOCENT 2018 Private Sector Champion, that one goes to the Jamaica Stock Exchange. We're going to be handing out some certificates to all the participants of SEBI. We call them our pioneers. Give everybody a really huge round of applause. Your contribution to this sector is going to go far and wide.
We're here at the SOCENT Awards 2018. You're an awardee today. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, it was very encouraging, affirming. We were awarded for growth, and at the end of the day, that's what we're about. We want to continue to grow our impact in the deaf community in Jamaica. And so 2 years ago when we started the SEBI program, we had 2 employees. Right. And now fast forward 2 years later, we have 14 full-time employees, of 10 to 12 other youth that are engaged in part-time work and transitioning into full-time work when we have more opportunities for them. So being able to grow from 2 to 14 in 2 years has been an incredible achievement, a lot of hard work by our team, and is encouraging for us just to receive that award and have our youth be able to go up on stage and receive that award.
Yeah. It's a big deal and congratulations. In regards to DEFCAN being a part of SEBI, how exactly did they help move your business along?
I mean, before we were involved in the SEBI program, we didn't really understand what social enterprise was all about. Gotcha. We didn't understand that as a sector. We did not start DEFCAN Coffee with the goal of being a social enterprise. It was really just a reaction to the issues that we saw where our youth felt very much like they can't. Like, oh, I'm deaf, poor me, I can't. And it's like, no, you can. So it was mostly about reaching into the community and getting our youth to believe in themselves. But then as their confidence grew and we got involved in the SEBI network, got opportunities to do more events, started building partnerships, and our staff were working in other cafes and coffee shops in different locations, their confidence grew, and then the rest of society started recognizing them over and over and over again too. And so we realized this is actually a message beyond just the deaf community, because DEFCAN started strictly to encourage our youth to believe that they can, but now they're getting the Prime Minister's Youth Award for Social Enterprise. They're getting Social Enterprise Awards here at this event. So as they get more recognition, other people are starting to realize, oh, DEFCAN. And so now we have even bigger sights set on just changing how people view the deaf community as a whole.
So DEFCAN, you're growing. What's next?
Next for us is continued growth through partnerships. We have existing partnerships already in Kingston, in Portmore, in St. Elizabeth, in Montego Bay. And so if there is a company out there and all you want to do is serve good coffee, but you don't know where to start, you don't know what to do, there's not baristas in Jamaica readily available, come to us. We'll work with you, we'll develop solutions, and we'll provide a staff member that's trained already as a barista and help you serve the needs that you have with your customers.
I extend on behalf of the JN Foundation our gratitude to the USAID for partnering with us on this project, and commend the SEBI and the JN Foundation teams for the seminal work that they have accomplished during the past 6 years to make this project a success. As Jamaicans, we can all play our part to help our social enterprises to excel in their businesses. That's what Buy Social campaign is all about. With all our financial support, these entities cannot thrive. When they succeed, Jamaica succeeds.
Well, Jane, history. Start from helping the poor and people with problems. That's our history. And unlike giving handouts and charity, JN Foundation really felt that we want to be able to help those in communities who can't help themselves, to be able to empower them to be able to help themselves going forward. We were very lucky to have been able to have a partner in the USAID who saw and captured what we're trying to do is in terms of community development and also nation building. What it started in few areas, now it's nationwide, and you can see that we have hundreds of small groups who are now able to help themselves and to be able to turn a profit and be able to make useful lives for themselves. the relationship or the program with USAID has just come to a close. So the foundation is moving it or changing it from SEBI to SEJA. So this will continue. We will work with other groups in helping communities to grow and using the same model since it has worked, and we'll show that it will continue to do well. So we're very happy in what we have seen, and you have seen the numbers of people that are turning out, with people turning hobbies into business, but also having social conscience or environmental importance, while at the same time making enough revenue to make the business sustainable. And that is what the difference in terms of from a social charity to social enterprise business.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
You are an awardee here today. Congratulations. Tell me a little bit about your business.
So next step is a social enterprise that's focused on youth engagement and employment. So we offer services such as coaching, training, speaking, and tutoring in the parish of St. Thomas and also anywhere in Jamaica or the region.
You were an awardee here for rural regeneration. Talk to us about that.
So we operate in rural Jamaica in the parish of St. Thomas, which is often underscored as a parish that is behind. So we have positioned ourselves as a social enterprise to be a part of the mission, to be a part of the change. And that started from my personal story where I had issues of self-worth growing up in a rural parish where there are so many rural stereotypes. And I looked around me and realized that the young people were equally affected just as I was. They were not delivering themselves as they should in terms of self-delivery and self-awareness. I wanted to make a change. It started a social enterprise that's really doing a great job. We partner with Heart Trust NTA, with the British Council, with various organizations that have similar mission to truly make a change while making profit.
It's basically the end of SEBI. This is their closeout event. What are your thoughts on that and I guess your feelings?
Well, SEBI has been a phenomenal support to our brand. So in terms of our brand presence and positioning from our look and our feel, we have gotten a lot of support. And they're also big on making sure that your capacity is built to match that powerful branding that we have at the front. So we had business mentorship. We were able to put in some systems that we did not have before. We actually know what the triple bottom line really means in terms of people, passion, profit. So we're taking care of our staff better, having the systems in place to make sure that inside and out that we are a powerful brand. That's the biggest thing that we have gotten from SEBI, and we're really looking forward to Social Enterprise JA. We're now well positioned to benefit from some of the support that will now come from the Social Stock Exchange and other movements that are taking place to strengthen the social enterprise movement in Jamaica.
But what's next for our next step?
Well, for next step, we're looking at actually scaling up. Our services are now well packaged. So we have Ready, Set, Go coaching program, we have a Prep for PEP mobile clinic, and we have the CCC training package, which looks at communication and other 21st century skills. So that is now nicely and tightly packaged, something that we didn't have before. So now we're pushing it. We're getting more support from corporate brands who are now booking us for services. We have had just a few international engagements, but with now the branding and the presence that we have with SEBI, we are sure that a lot more regional and international engagements are coming.
Talk to us a little bit about Educators JA. What exactly it is that you guys do?
Well, Educators is an EdTech and adventure tour company
We in essence make learning fun by providing people with experiential learning and gamified field trips that are powered by technology. So we are combining exploration with things like playing, technology, exercise, things like that. Yeah.
You are the SOCENT Award winner today for innovation. Talk to us about that.
So I think, as I said, because we combine exploring with the technology, it's not a virtual experience. It's more of people going outside, learning about their country. People are involved at the same time, but the phone is really what's different. Using your phone as a tool. We have an app called Adventures. People can download this in the App Store. It's not available on iPhones as yet, but the app, in essence, allows you to explore, learn, and have fun.
Talk to us about Educators Jamaica and your involvement with SEBI and how you've grown by being a part of SEBI.
So apart from us making learning fun and giving people tours, our tours, we have a clear social mission, which is not only to educate youth, but to include them. Inclusion means giving tours to students or young people that wouldn't necessarily get a tour. Somebody who's homeless, somebody who's deaf, so we include them. We also employ them. So we have them as creative writers and tour guides. These are youngsters that we train and recruit ourselves, giving them skills that they can use elsewhere or with us. And SEBI is really the organization that discovered the social impact that we are having through our tours. They were the ones who molded us into a social enterprise.
It's their final, their closeout event. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm just happy to be here with people who we consider to be family at this point. We've grown with them. And I'm looking forward to what SAJA will do for not just Jamaica, but the region. I'm looking forward to seeing more people become aware of what a social enterprise is, more people coming into the space, but with innovative ideas, fun ideas, things that they would consider to be their talent and so forth. I'm just looking forward to more people making social impact through business. So it's purpose plus profit. That's what I'm looking forward to.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
So we have with us Miss Charmaine Brim of the PIOJ, who is the Public Sector Champion Award right here at the SEBI Awards. Talk to us about that. What is your involvement with SEBI?
JN Foundation actually engaged the PIOJ in 2015 around the premise of the work that they have been doing for the social sector and sharing with us some of the gaps that were in the sector. And one of them was the fact that there was no policy framework to support the sector. So we were actually successful in lobbying the Ministry of Industry, who, on the request of the Bank of Jamaica at the time, who wanted a limited review of the MSME and entrepreneurship policy, the PIOJ lobbied MICAF to have some consideration to include discussions around the social enterprise sector. And resulting from that, a new chapter was developed called the Social Value Creation. That's now added to the policy. So that's the big championing of the PIOJ in one way. And the other is that from a programmatic standpoint, the Community Renewal Program is a program within the PIOJ. And the primary goal of that program is to coordinate initiatives towards effective program delivery at the community level, and we target the volatile and vulnerable communities across 5 parishes. One of the key pillars under the community renewal program is socio-economic development. And that includes looking at the strategy that deals with promoting entrepreneurship. So in the context of promoting entrepreneurship and looking for good business models that can advance sustainable development at the community level, then the social enterprise model was a good one for us as well. So it is a model that we have actually adopted, and we have found that the model is a good one. It's a high growth model. And the idea is to continue what SEBI has started. We're going to be very much involved in the conversations with JN Foundation regarding SEJA as well. As you would have heard today, it is intended to be a multi-sectoral approach, right, kind of entity. So the conversation and the work continues.
PSTO Mobility Center is a social enterprise boost initiative that caters for persons with disability, preferably persons with physical disability who use mobility aid products. So we are here to solve that problem for persons with disability.
Talk to us about your involvement with SEBI.
So as an organization, we as established as an organization, and then we see the needs of the disabled community not able to fit in society because of these challenges that comes with the wearing of the chairs or the crutches or the cane, whatever mobility needs there are. And so as an organization who advocate for persons with disability, we ensure that we represent them to the fullest. And so out of that, the Mobility Center was started. And then when SEBI came on board, of course, that was our opportunity to make ourselves visible and to be seen into what we do. So SEBI came with a lot of opportunity for us. It provided us with the skills we need. It provided with some of the tools and equipment that we need, and the retraining areas that we had underlooked or overlooked. So we're happy for the partnership with SEBI. As you know, jobs are hard to get, and can you just imagine for someone with a disability unemployed? May have the skill, but access and other things may deter these business persons to employers. So here we are now with SEBI, creating employment and training for our members. That is a huge benefit within the disabled community when we can recognize our need and solve our needs. Disability is a state of mind. It's not a death sentence, a life sentence. So you live with your disability, you don't die with it. That's what I want to tell them. So this is an opportunity for them to get up and accept themselves as a person with a disability. Because you are a person first. I want you to know you are a person. There are responsibility that comes with being a person. So you're going to live to your fullest. That's my advice.
A special thank you for tuning in to our coverage of the SEBI Closeout event. And thank you to the JN Foundation, the SEBI Group, and all the awardees today. I've been your host, Amita Prasadweb, and thank you for watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, product launch, workshop, or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357, or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about Home Sweet Home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.
It is said that when one door closes, another opens. But we often look so long and so regretfully upon the closed door that we don't see the one that has opened for us. Don't miss out on your future, spending time in the past. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I am Theodore Henry. We have an interesting show lined up just for you, so stay tuned as the magazine unfolds. You don't want to miss a minute of it.
Protect Jamaica, plant your grass. Help us become more resilient to climate change impacts. Protect Jamaica, plant a tree. It improves the island's national biodiversity. Trees may be fruit, ornamental, or timber, but must be native or suitable to the area's natural landscape. Join the Jamaica Million Tree Campaign and help to plant 1 million trees by June 30, 2019. This is a call to action by the National Environment and Planning Agency.
Things Jamaica in store: the Heart Trust NTA, the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, the Premier League Clubs Association. All these are just some of the entities that are the brainchild of former Prime Minister, the late Edward Seaga. Get more facts next.
Welcome to Get the Facts, a program that provides you with information on government's policies and initiatives. I'm your host, Enthros Campbell. On today's show, we pay tribute to the late former Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Edward Seaga. He was instrumental in the development of Jamaica in the areas of finance, rural and urban planning, social and education programs, culture and the arts, as well as sports, to name a few. To share more about his life and legacy is Professor Emeritus of History, Patrick Bryan. He's also the author of the book, Edward Seaga and the Challenges of Modern Jamaica. Professor, so good to have you.
It's nice to be here.
Right, Jamaica at this point is mourning the loss of our fifth Prime Minister. Yes. And we thank you for coming in to just help us to understand more about the man.
I'll try.
Yes. First, tell us, what motivated you to write this book?
I had a long-term interest in looking at 20th century Jamaica. And I was also aware that there was some wish that a biography be done of Mr. Seaga. And so I consulted him and I began the work. Later on, of course, he did his own autobiography, but I was in the middle of this, so I just completed it and consulted him on several occasions.
Yes, yeah. Right. So tell me the challenges of modern Jamaica and Mr. Seaga. What were the challenges, and how would you grade him as a historian on the solutions he would have put forward?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I can give gradings like 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10. It's difficult to do that. But certainly we had the economy is always central to Jamaica's problems, because what happens to the economy has an impact on the politics, has an impact on the society, and so on. So the economics is one thing. Yes. Then there are the racial, cultural, color questions which still survive in Jamaica in terms of people's attitudes towards attitudes and interactions with each other. That is still very much there. And then culturally, there are, and Seaga often referred to it, the concept of two Jamaicas, where the values are not necessarily universal, and in fact they're often conflicting. And we can see some of these challenges in, say, religion, for example. Jamaica has its Euro-oriented churches, but it also has its African-oriented churches, and syncretisms of both,
Yes.
such as, say, revivalism, and which in many ways Seaga embraced. And the only prime minister really to give a kind of stage for revivalism.
Could we talk about some of the other challenges and the solutions that you put forward? For example, rural-urban drift, education, so there was heart. And can we talk about more some of those challenges and solutions?
Yeah. He followed the tradition, which I would say had begun quite clearly in the post-1938 period, of encouraging the expansion of education at the primary, secondary, and to some extent tertiary level, with the university coming to being in 1948. Welfare, we have a tradition of welfare in Jamaica. In fact, Jamaica has a multitude of voluntary organizations, and he saw the voluntary organizations as critical in the development of Jamaica. Right. One of the things that he would have done would, like the establishment of HEART, for example, where he looked in particular at, say, high school graduates who didn't have a certificate, how to get them trained in the occupations that business people were demanding, right?
Yes, yes.
And HEART was a very nice combination of social and economic policy.
And those courses were free, and they still are today.
There are.
Many of them.
Yes, and no doubt HEART not only does valuable work, but it has been imitated throughout the Caribbean.
Right, and UDC, that was created also to address that whole problem of people moving to Kingston.
Yeah, UDC was designed clearly to push certain developmental things.
Right.
And a lot of this was happening. For example, the establishment of New Kingston.
Yes.
And the developments in Ocho Rios,
yes.
Portmore, as a sort of dormitory city.
Yeah.
All of these things are things that he pushed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. We're going to take a break now, and when we return, we'll have more information on the life and the work of the late former Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Edward Seaga. Stay with us.
So many wish they could visit our shores. We live where they vacation. Brand Jamaica beckons all from the four corners of the earth.
Well, as a Jamaican, I have great pride in selling it. Your pride that you sell Jamaica with is something that it rolls off. Jamaica has so much to offer, and every time I have the privilege of bringing an executive down to Jamaica, an executive from an airline or a tour operator or a travel agency, and you take them across the country, the pride that they said, wow, I can't imagine, especially when it's their first time. Wow, I love this.
Build it. Cherish it. Our wealth is Brand Jamaica.
Welcome back to Get the Facts. We continue our discussion with Professor Patrick Bryan in tribute to the Most Honorable Edward Seaga, our late former Prime Minister. Thanks for staying with us. Professor Bryan, let us start now. Let us look at the book. Tell me about that chapter that speaks to the Prime Minister, Edward Seaga, Euphoria.
Yes. In that chapter, what I tried to do was to show, in fact, the kind of relief that people seem to have felt that Jamaica was not going the route of communism and so on. And what I record is letters of congratulation to him, especially from evangelicals and Pentecostals, who saw a link between democratic socialism, communism, and liberation theology, and who took the view that personal salvation is really what matters. But the point is that they emphasized this tremendous support that they gave him, and that his anti-communism, which they say was a force against the church, and so on. That's one part of the chapter. The second chapter was actually trying to examine the situation which the Prime Minister faced in 1980 with a deep economic crisis.
So the euphoria is speaking to the people.
Yes.
Right,
yeah.
yes. Uh-huh.
It's how people responded to this change in October 1980.
Yes.
The country was extremely tense. Huh? And so in many ways I tried to summarize some of his thoughts about how to proceed. And clearly a good bit of it is how do we mend the relations between Jamaica and the United States, because he, like most governments, starting from the 60s, took the view, the Bustamante view, that we are with the West. And he was quite unapologetic about it, that Jamaica would have far more to gain by working with the United States than against them. He saw Jamaican foreign policy as linked to this alliance with the West and working through the United Nations institutions and essentially a pro-Western ideology. At the same time, he wrote an article in the Atlantic Journal where he said that countries like Jamaica have to be neither capitalist nor socialist. They have to be somewhere in between because of our particular circumstances. But he did not go in for taking on the third world thing that Michael Manley had.
Yes. What did Mr. Serger say about his motivation to go into politics?
You know, what he says about it is essentially a surprise. He had been, among other things, a record producer, and he did frontier work here, producing records on vinyl for the first time and giving some people opportunities in that area. But what he assisted in the JLP in the elections of 1959, and of course the referendum of 61. But Bustamante invited him to join the Legislative Council, and he said he was taken by surprise, but he accepted the offer, and then that changed his whole life. He had a sense of what was absurd. For example, leaving Linstead, having met Mr. Diesel, he's on this truck, which is boiling.
So the Diesel is a small train, right? The Diesel is a small train, right? So he had Mr. Diesel and...
Yeah, so he takes this truck, which keeps boiling, and after a few yards, the passengers had to come out and push the truck up the hill, and then to be filled with water, fill the radiator and so on. He eventually reaches Stony Hill, where he takes another truck, which is loaded with market people, and he found his way into Kingston, sitting on the laps of a higgler. You know, but in a way, it's an absurd thing, and he recognizes this. And there are lots of signs of a wry humor that Seaga had.
So when you met him, was he the same person that you thought he was? Was that how you perceived him?
Honestly, I did not know what to expect.
Okay.
Because you'd hear all this stuff about blood and thunder and that sort of thing.
Yes.
But that's not what I met. I met a rather quiet, gracious older citizen of Jamaica. And so my mind was open. So
as it relates to this autocratic personality.
Yeah, we discussed that actually, and he said essentially he isn't. It's just that he likes to get things done, and if people that he has asked to do things fail to do them, well, he'll undertake to get it done himself.
Yes,
And this was the approach he took.
Yes.
But when we had the strikes and demonstrations in 1985, in a speech to Parliament, he says, well, demonstrations are to be expected in democratic countries.
Yes.
And when he had the one-party parliament after 1983, he established a Senate which would have had independent people and people meeting at the bar of the House in order to keep the constitutional thing going. And by the way, he was one of the consultants or writers of the Jamaican Constitution.
Professor Brand, thank you so very much for coming in and helping us to understand more about our 5th Prime Minister, Mr. Edward Seaga, late former Prime Minister.
This is my pleasure, and I wish we had more time.
I do so myself. This has been Get the Facts. Thank you for watching. We've been talking to author of the book, Edward Seaga and the Challenges of Modern Jamaica, Professor Emeritus Patrick Bryan. Thank you so much for watching. Before we go, a reminder, you may sign the condolence book in locations across Jamaica, and the official period of mourning is June 19 to 22. The state funeral is June 23 at the Cathedral of the Most Holy Trinity, starting at noon. There are many other activities, so please check our website. Until next time, I'm Rose Campbell. Take good care.
This is a difficult time for all of us as a nation. The passing of one of our great sons, the Most Honorable Edward Seaga, who has served us so well, is a time of sadness. It is a moment for reflection which calls us as a nation, as a national family, to come together in celebration for a life that was devoted to outstanding service for building Jamaica and enriching its people. He is being accorded a state funeral. Condolence books have been opened for signing at the following locations: Office of the Prime Minister, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Condolence books will also be opened at each municipality office in all parish capitals and the House of Parliament. And that will be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And Jamaica's missions overseas. On Monday, June 10, at the Tivoli Gardens Community Center from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Also on Tuesday, June 11, at the Denham Town Community Center from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. On Tuesday, June 18, the arts in tribute to the Most Honorable Edward Seaga will be held at the Little Theatre in Kingston, featuring the National Dance Theatre Company, of which he was the last remaining patron. The Jamaica Folk Singers, of which he was instrumental in the formation of the Jamaica Folk Singers. Among the other groups performing will be the Tivoli Dance Company. There'll be spoken tributes and other performances. June 19 to June 22nd will be declared the official period of mourning. Flags to be flown at half-mast. And on that day, his body will lie in state in Kingston at the National Arena. Also, on June 19, there will be a special sitting of both Houses of Parliament in tribute to the Most Honorable Edward Seaga. And the sitting will begin at 2 p.m. The state funeral for the late Most Honorable Edward Seaga will be held on June 23 at the Cathedral of the Most Holy Trinity on North Street. The service will begin at 12 noon. Interment will be at the National Heroes Park.
The Disabilities Act will protect the rights of all persons with disabilities. And here's a great teaching moment. Every person with a disability, like a deaf or hard of hearing child, for example, has the right to an education with accessible facilities and the support they need. In this case, it would be a teacher who can use the language of the deaf, which is sign language. Visit jcpdja.com. A message from the JCPD, an agency of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Farmers, if you have any oil kegs lying around or even an iron trolley, then this next feature is something you may want to pay keen attention to, especially if saving money this year on farming equipment is your top priority.
Based on laws imposed by the United States, Jamaican farmers are required to be certified under the Food Safety Modernization Act, as well as the Global Good Agricultural Practices Global GAP, if they want to export to that country. Given this development, the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, saw the need to introduce a hand wash station for farmers. It's part of the measures to assist local growers improve sanitation on their farms and fulfill one criteria for export certification.
The concept behind this is just a little bit different. Usually other hand wash stations will have a gravity-fed system, but what we done, we have incorporated a system that was developed here locally several years now, where we used the pump and spray that was introduced some time ago. Although it was introduced for the same concept in terms of showing and things like that, we have used the features of the pump and spray to add a little bit more dynamics to our presentation here, where you have a pressurized system. So that calls for a person's self. One person can actually wash their hands here without assistance from somebody else. So you'd go there without contaminating that water source that you have.
This hand wash station is not only affordable, it is also easy to assemble. All you need is an iron trolley, 3 oil kegs, a pump and spray instrument, and some PVC pipes and fittings.
From there, at a local welder, we modify the trolley, and in a way that we could install the kegs. So here we have the trolley, and we weld the handles, so it would be able to hold the keg steadily. And this is a pump and spray that we can get locally. So how it works is that a farmer or anybody who is working in the field would come by the wash station. He would get some soap on his hand, okay, and he would pump. He would pump the system. The pair would pressurize the bottle, and in return, air will displace the water, and the water will comes up. And then the farmer would wash. After washing, the farmer wouldn't have to touch anything to contaminate his hands. He would just move over to the hand towel and dry his hands.
It was good. I enjoyed doing it. It wasn't hard at all.
It was just easy. Just put my foot and pump it. Water just come up, and I wash my hands.
The effects of not having a hand wash station, well, it's really more for safety as it relates to you, the farmer, because what RADA's mandate is also about is to educate farmers on best practices as it relates to agriculture. And the farmer's safety is a part of the best practices that we are trying to encourage out there.
The team also successfully designed a water pump made using a weed hacker, which can fill a 50-gallon drum in 5 minutes.
This waka can be used for more than one purpose. So a farmer can have a waka but need a water pump, cannot afford a water pump. Now what the farmer can do is just easily retrofit the waka and a pump, merge them together so that he can have a water pump and a waka. So at times, whenever the farmer need a waka, he just remove the pump and put on the waka section.
Farming may be expensive, but through innovation, your basic equipment could be just what you need to ensure greater savings.
We are now in the hurricane season, which spans from June 1 to November 30 annually. Ask yourself this: how much do I truly know about hurricanes and Jamaica's history with them? Here are some facts. Number 1, a hurricane is an intense tropical storm with powerful winds and heavy rains, usually ranging from a Category 1 to a Category 5, which is the most destructive. Number 2, the eye of the hurricane, which you'll hear mentioned every time a hurricane is formed, is the center and is in fact the calmest area of the system. Number 3, this year marks the 31st anniversary of Hurricane Gilbert, which hit Jamaica on September 12, 1988. It is described as the most destructive hurricane in Jamaican history. Take some time to find out more about hurricanes and improve your readiness in the event one should strike. Disaster readiness and recovery are integral to making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. Thanks for watching another edition of Jamaica Magazine. Join us again tomorrow when we'll do this all over again. Send your feedback on today's show to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. Also, follow us on our social media pages, that is Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Download our app on your Apple and Android devices. You can also visit our website at jis.gov.jm for more information. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
All human life is precious. Respect life. No more senseless killing. No more.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, product launch, workshop, or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357, or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious
about business.
Serious about business.
Hello and welcome to Business Access Television's coverage of the Golden Day Tourism Awards. We're coming to you from Montego Bay, St. James, where it's a very special day. The Ministry of Tourism and the Jamaica Tourist Board are honoring individuals who have dedicated over 50 years of service to building the local tourism industry. I'm Kenil Gale and I'll be your host, so stay tuned for the highlights. Okay, so we told you that the Ministry of Tourism and the Jamaica Tourist Board, they are honoring individuals who have dedicated over 50 years of service to the tourism industry. And speaking with me now is Melvin
Williams.
Melvin Williams, and he's been in the industry for how long?
58 years.
58 years. What's the major change you would say from when you started until now?
We have quite a bit of changes. I've seen a vast more tourists coming into the country than ever before. We have a lot more people get involved in the industry than ever before. I find that people are more better off in a living condition than before since the industry has been grown to this dimension.
What are some of the milestones you've seen? Because you've been in it for decades. So what are some of the milestones that you've seen over the years?
In the last 15 years, it has developed very fast, rapidly. I have seen tremendous amount of hotels that has been built. The Spanish hotels, so many Spanish hotels with so many bedrooms. I've seen so many hotels built right across the country, especially in the North Coast. Our beaches have been developed, and cruise ships has been more than ever before in the past. And we have a lot more people, operators, tourist operators, drivers, who involved in this industry that been able to make a better living for their family than in the past. So most of them I discovered that they can have a better home, better school for their kids, able to send their kids to school. And even though it has been hard sometimes, but yes, they're able to do it because of the industry.
Let's talk a little bit about your journey. Tell us a little bit about where you started and what are some of the jobs that you've done within the industry.
Okay, I started at the Roundel Hotel in 1959, and I worked there until 1963. I was sent to London by Mr. John Pringle, who was the owner and director of the Roundel Hotel, to our Park Lane Hotel in Dorchester, London. And I worked there for 18 months. Then I came back to Roundel in 1964 and picked up my position there, and I worked there until 1970, where I started a transportation business of my own, carrying the tourists in my own taxi service. Then I leave there in 1970 to our Martin Tours, which was the only tour company then in Montego Bay and Jamaica. I worked with Martin Tours until 1976, when they moved out of the country. And then I was a member of JUTA from 1974. And since then, 1976, I went to the Sanders, where it was Royal Caribbean. I went to Royal Caribbean Hotel, which is now Sanders Royal, and I'm there until this very day from 1976.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us, and congratulations again. And on behalf of Jamaica, we thank you for your service.
And I've been able to school all my 6 kids, give them university training, and I think I am privileged to be here this evening to share with you the importance of the industry, and I'm grateful.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Another awardee has stopped by to talk with us. He's Michael Young, and he's been in the industry for 51 years.
51 years.
Talk to us about what you're feeling tonight. What does this function mean to you?
Well, I'm feeling proud because tourism is our #1 industry. And where I work at the airport, I welcome the tourists in when they came in with their luggage, and when they're going out, I'm the last person to say bye-bye to them.
So you have a very critical role in terms of ensuring that people feel at home when they come and want to come back.
Right, and I operate on a tip basis. And whether I get money or not, I still give a smile and say, come back to Jamaica, man.
All right, talk to us about your journey in the industry. You say you work at the airport now, but that's where you've always been, or you've had different jobs?
Well, I do a little truth and tourism too, from the shipport now, because I'm not living back anymore now. I'm getting older. But I've been at the airport from there was 4 aircraft. 4 aircraft.
4 aircraft?
Right. And now you have over 35, 40 coming in per day.
Nice, nice. How has the tourism evolved in your eyes in terms of the product that we are offering here in Jamaica?
It's growing rapid. To what it started from, it's growing rapid. I am pleased. I passed the airport a while ago and I was happy to see the amount of planes on the ground and the amount of buses. And tourism is quick money. It's foreign exchange. It's the biggest industry in Jamaica. Quick cash.
You talk to a lot of tourists. So what do you think are some of the things that we can do better? As in some of the things that we can do to make tourists more comfortable, let them feel more safe, make them feel more welcome.
Tourists like a smile, and they like to be comfortable. They like to congratulate and ask them to come back to Jamaica and go the extra mile to do something. And everything is not money. Sometimes some tourists are poorer than I and you, but they come to Jamaica. And if you treat them nice, they'll tell somebody, they maybe tell the rich guy, come to Jamaica.
All right, congratulations again. And the word you're leaving with us is treat the tourists nice.
Yeah?
And keep smiling.
Smile, keep smiling. Welcome the tourists, treat them right, keep them safe, and they will come.
All right, wise words there from Michael, who's been in the industry for over 50 years. We're now speaking with Wordsworth Watson, and he's been in the industry for 65 years, all of 65 years.
Yes, sir, unbroken.
65 unbroken years. It just boggles my mind, and it's a wow for me to. So first of all, thank you for your contribution to the industry. And how are you feeling to be here tonight?
Extremely good, because in 1960 I went to a seminar down Casa Montego. And the lecturer was from UWI. And his remarks was that he was the brightest one in there. And anybody in the tourism sector are from the lowest category of the workers. And after that, Hugh Shearer realized that we were not being cared for, and he decided to start a program, but unfortunately he died before the program could get off the ground.
Talk to us a little bit about what does the tourism industry mean to you as an individual, and also as an individual being able to contribute to the growth of this wonderful industry from its infancy up until now.
Very good. It means so much to me. First thing, that's what made me to be what I am today. And secondly, it helped me to school my daughter overseas, give her one of the first-class education in Canada at York University. and now she's doing a very good business in Canada. I'm feeling very proud, and again, to know that at my age, they still want me to be in the system.
All right, Mr. Watson, thank you so much. Thank you for your contribution to the industry, and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
We're now speaking with Myrtle Dwyer, and she's another one of our awardees this evening. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It's been such a special evening for you and your fellow awardees.
Awesome. For one, I never thought for a moment. I never expect awards. I do, and I am, and whatever comes with it. So when I heard that I personally was being awarded this evening, I was like, that's impossible. I just happened to have been in tourism, did what I was supposed to do, and I'm enjoying it.
You've been in it for 50 years, so it must be something that you love.
Absolutely. It actually grew on me because came from the hills of Westmoreland to high school in Montego Bay High School to be exact. And Montego Bay was tourism, so we saw tourists walking up and down on the road. We were gracious and kind to them, and it became a part of me, and my curiosity led me into tourism, and it grew on me even further, and I studied the subject heading off to Germany in 1972 to study hospitality and tourism.
Jamaica has, sun, sea, sand, but a lot of other places have that. What do you think gives us the edge in the tourism industry?
Awesome. We're a nation of contrast. We're an island of diversity, and we're just a land of beauty with experiences to match every desire, every discerning client, every aspirational client, and every client who wants to come to Jamaica or thinks they need to get to Jamaica.
Now we know why you're one of the foundation members in the industry. Finally, just tell me, what does that mean to you to be one of the foundation members, one of the persons who helped to build the industry from where it was to where it's at now?
Actually, it's good because the times were tough. It was tough, one, being in the industry, working long hours, and two, being a woman. It was a man's industry. And so you had to contend with the men, and you had to contend with foreigners. And but you know what? It made me to be built of sterner stuff. And today my shoulders are broad, and I'm standing on the backs of a few others who came before me. But I'd love to have taught many who have gone on to be excellent women of industry.
And 50 years later, you have a real good legacy to look back on.
Absolutely, and I'm still going. Reinventing myself.
Still reinventing yourself. Thank you so much for talking with us. We take a quick break here from the Golden Tourism Day Awards here in Montego Bay. More after this break.
Want more experience from your SUV? Introducing the 2020 Nissan X-Trail with leading-edge technology, intelligent ride and chassis control, a round view monitor, and hill start assist for confidence behind the wheel, plus auto headlights and panoramic sunroof. Drive the SUV with more experience. The Nissan X-Trail, available today at Fidelity Motors.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, products launch, workshop, or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357, or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Welcome back to Business Access Television's coverage of the Ministry of Tourism and the Jamaica Tourist Board's Golden Day Tourism Awards.
The idea, of course, of having an event like this was born out of a realization that tourism has, over the last 50 years, evolved into the most important industry in the world today. And many of you would not have known or even realized what you had been putting yourself to and the task that you were assigned and the outcomes that in time would ensue. When you started out in your various areas, some of you have transformed into many, many other things. Others of you have painstakingly stood your path and have served well with distinction in your preferred area. And as Martin Luther King said, you became the best of whatever you wanted to be. If you were a busboy, you became the best busboy that there ever was. And if you were a gardener, you became the best gardener that there ever was. And if you were a driver, you became the best driver that there ever was. And whatever it is that you were, you did it like Michelangelo did painting. And we're proud, very proud to have you. But I wanted to just reflect a little bit on the fact that 50 years ago, when some of you started, and there are many who have done more than 50 years. As a matter of fact, when I went through the schedule, I saw that there were very few 50 years. There were more 51, 52, 53, as far down as 67 years. Hello, 67 years. And I reflected a little bit on what happened when 50 years ago some of you started. And 50 years ago, 400,000 people came to Jamaica for tourism purposes. And they spent $87 million US. Last year, because of you and your 50 years and more, 4.3 million visitors came to Jamaica and spent $3 billion US. And this year, we are going to see pretty close to 4.4 million people coming, and they are spending $3.3 billion US. In that same period, there were only 10,000 employees direct in tourism. Today, 120,000 people are employed in tourism because of you and your efforts. 50 years ago, we were not a factor in the GDP calculations. Today, last year, tourism contributed 8.4% of GDP because of your efforts. And I want you to recognize that we believe that the time is now right for us to look at this great industry that you've created and to build and create a new architecture that is going to ensure that the efforts and legacy of all of you is sustained in the constant development and the expansion and transformation of this country and the people of our country from poverty to prosperity. And we are excited about that prospect. As a result of which, we have been putting together a number of new initiatives towards that effect. In the introduction to me, mention was made of the efforts that we initiated in my first iteration as minister with regards to the pension program for workers of the industry. And to the benefit of those who would not give a lot of thought to it, that process continued while I was in sabbatical with the new minister, and it was taken to a certain point. But that point which it was taken to was not sufficient for us to implement, because there were a whole range of difficulties that emerged as a result of the type of policy that we have sought to implement. One which had no precedent in either Jamaica or the world. Nobody else in the world has a tourism policy for pension like we are trying to introduce. Nobody. And consequently, we had concerns by the legal entities as to exactly what it was. The second concern was that we had to legislate. and it would have been the first policy to be legislated in terms of contribution, because all policies otherwise are voluntary, and so the contributions are made voluntarily. We are introducing legislation to make it compulsory for everybody who is working or employs people in tourism to contribute to this pension plan, to make sure that we can secure the future of the workers of this industry. And so we are not going to be driven by any feelings about how quickly it should happen. Yes, we want it to happen quickly, but we want to have right. We want to get it right. And we want to make sure that at the end of the day, the workers, you who have worked for 50 years and over, and who have retired, can retire in the certain knowledge that there will be pecuniary rewards for you after you have left the companies that you work with. But one of the reasons that this particular pension plan is so unique and is different from all the others and cause a little bit of harder work and more detailed legal applications is that it's not confined to a single sector. And all the other pension plans relate to a particular sector or a company. This one we are trying to embrace all the areas that connect with tourism so that the little man, the red cap at the airport will have a place in this pension plan. So that the craft vendor has a place in this pension plan. So the transportation sector, the Juta man and the Jekyll man, yes, and all the other transportation providers in Jamaica have a place in this plan. And also the attraction workers, the rafters, yes, the rafters on the Rio Grande, and the rafters on Great River, and the rafters on Martha Brae, all will have a place in this plan. So this is an omnibus plan which will take into account all the connecting parts for tourism that has never happened before. And we have to get it right. And thank goodness we have a good team headed by Daisy Coke, who is doing a magnificent job, perhaps the best actuary in the entire Caribbean. We have the benefit of her services, and we are doing it right, and don't rush us too much. Let us get it right, and we'll have it for you before it's long.
I'm 36. I'm a husband, a manager, and still very good looking. In 2 hours, I have the most important meeting of my life. But first, it's time to play. The new Suzuki Vitara.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show. And Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
But we need to do something else, as you see we are doing. We're building out the capacity of our human capital to generate quality services that you have started during your 50 years. And you have had over the period not the opportunity to get formal training, some of you. And others of you have slaved and worked hard in the various fields without certification. and you have suffered the consequences thereof because you get passed over every time and new people come in from overseas to take your place. Well, in this new arrangement and the new architecture for tourism, we are training our people, we are certifying them. We have established the Jamaica Center for Tourism Innovation, which is a pathway institution to professionalize the workers of the industry. And already we have provided 450 workers with qualifications from the American Hotel and Lodging Institute and the American Culinary Federation. And what that does is to say that the efforts that you have made over the years to build a workforce in the industry must never be taken for granted, and that the Jamaican worker henceforth must have his rightful place in a professional arrangement and get the recognition and the remuneration that fits his qualification and his abilities. Within that frame, earlier this year in September, we started the first ever program for high school students in hotel management. And so the fifth formers, as we know them, who now would go to sixth form, those 2 years between fifth form and when you graduate, an option is provided for you to get an associate degree in hotel management so that when you leave high school, you can go straight into the hotel and take a strong position as a worker. Not as a contract 3-month worker, but as a full-fledged worker within the industry. And so we are going to look at also the other levels of training that are taking place so that we put ourselves in a position where the workers of our industry can command respect not only at home, but anywhere in the world that they go because they would be certified. And the final area of that is that we are going to ensure that there is a labor market reformation, because the industry is no longer a seasonal industry where we work for 3 months or 2 months or 6 weeks and then you're gone and we close down. We are now an all year round industry where we are bringing up to 4 and more million people every year, and they are there every day. And so we have to look at those labor reform areas. So the next element of the development is how do we include the small and medium enterprises within the tourism industry to become a critical part of the value chain and also to be greater beneficiaries of the resources of tourism. And so we, Jamaica, little Jamaica, led the world in changing the way we look at small and medium enterprises. And we said to them, there is something called a small and medium tourism enterprise. Because these are the 80% of who constitute tourism in the world. But who only get 20% of the resources of tourism? Something is wrong with that, little Jamaica said to the UNWTO. And they have listened and agreed. And so we now have a situation where we are transforming that whole arrangement, where the liquor man, who has been the hero of wood and drawers of water in tourism, will now have a place, and a place that can supply for him a future for his children and himself. And that's very important. And what did we do in that regard? We established a training program for you, but then we went to provide financing. And we put $1 billion in Exim Bank to be lent to you, the liquor man, at 4.5% per annum for 5 years. And you can borrow $5 million to $25 million to expand your liquor business, to grow your liquor business, and to convert your idea in something of material value that can give you economic returns. And that's another part of that strategy, to create economic empowerment for the small people who are involved in the tourism industry. And finally, I want to say to you that we look at how do we then change the way in which we have been doing tourism. And we have established a task force under Mr. Wilfred Bagaloo, who is a partner of Price Waterhouse and a very reputed and knowledgeable person in that field. And he has been working over the last few months, and I've been interviewing people from all over. And the purpose of which is for us to look at what is happening through the various mechanisms and protocols in the international trade. Things like the EPA and other such constructs. And to see how those are impacting and affecting our traditional and local entrepreneurs in the tourism sector. And the purpose of which is to redefine that process and indeed to establish a new architecture to enable our Jamaican workers and our Jamaican entrepreneurs to continue to become a vibrant and valued part of the tourism value chain. This is very important to us. Then we have to look at how we interact with the visitors. 50 years ago, we built a tradition in Jamaica of us being a nice, sweet, loving, huggy, kissy, friendly destination. Not true? And that has worked well for us. And it has given us 42% repeat business. But the world has changed in terms of how people think about those type of relationships. We have to learn that no is no. And understand that everybody who comes to our destination doesn't come for the same things. And to recognize that people come for all kinds of things and to be prepared to make sure that we give what they need and what is required. So we are going to develop a whole new program of training and discourses and discussion about something that we're calling tourism ethics, which is the way in which we interact and relate to our guests in a manner which is friendly, yes, but is respective of their particular personality and their human rights. And I wanted to make that point tonight because I know that there is something in the public space which has not worked well for us. The issues of sexual harassment and the issues of criminality that historically or otherwise might have been a feature. We are determined that the new architecture must see a Jamaica that rids itself of even the slightest perception on that matter. And so, next year early, we're bringing in an international team headed by Dr. Peter Tarlow and a group called Global Rescue to work with us to structure and to develop a full new program of how we interact and we relate to international guests. This is very important. It's not going to do any harm to us. It's going to put us in a better place. And it is going to make the 50 years and more that you have given to this become golden years, in fact, on which Jamaica is going to continue to build and to become the best tourist destination in the world. God bless you, and thank you very much.
You're watching Business Access Television's coverage of the Golden Day Tourism Awards. More after this break.
Do you want more experience from your SUV? Introducing the 2020 Nissan X-Trail with leading-edge technology, intelligent ride and chassis control, a round view monitor, and hill start assist for confidence behind the wheel, plus auto headlights and panoramic sunroof. Drive the SUV with more experience. The Nissan X-Trail, available today at Fidelity Motors.
Welcome back. You're watching Business Access Television's coverage of the Golden Day Tourism Awards. We're at the Convention Center in Montego Bay, St. James. Time now for more highlights.
It's now time to move into the awards section of our function today. And we will be presenting the awards in batches with assistance from some special guests for the handing out. So let me invite first up Ms. Janet Taylor, Executive Director of Devon House, to present to the awardees who have served for 50 years. Can we give her a round of applause as she comes forward, please? Let's hear it for Noel Bailey. And so let's hear it for our second awardee, artisan, craft trader Kathleen Johnson. Craft trader Velma Parker. Next is Vinette Patton Faulkner, craft trader. 50 years, ladies and gentlemen. Also celebrating 50 years, Gloria Ricketts, artisan, craft trader. Tour operator Judy Schoenbein. Also celebrating 50 years, water sports and hotel management, Ernest Smat. 50 years as a craft trader. Let's hear it for Eunice Thompson, our next awardee. Our next awardee is ground transport operator Ralph Smith. Next, we invite Dr. Kerry Wallace, Executive Director of the Tourism Enhancement Fund, to present to awardees who have served for 51 years. First, in this lot, is Raft Captain Keith Allen. Next one up is Lloyd Davis, 51 years. "51 years for tour operator Myrtle Dwyer. Also 51 years for Hayden Fulcott, raft captain. Next awardee is craft trader Winifred Jones. Next on the list, though, is housekeeper Barbara Marsh, 51 years. Raft captain Leroy Miller is the next recipient of an award for 51 years. Another raft captain also with 51 years is Donald Morgan. Yet another raft captain, Euclid Richards, also celebrating 51 years. Next up is raft captain Jasper Roberts. And he is followed by raft captain Augustus Thaxter. And in this lineup of 51-year serving raft captains, we also have Owen Waugh. Ladies and gentlemen, the final of our 51-year awardees is Red Cap Porter Michael Sylvester Young. Mr. Young.
And we're now with Alan Daswani, and he's been in the tourism industry for over 60 years. Over 60 years. First of all, congratulations on being recognized tonight.
Thank you very much.
How does it make you feel to be among the awardees?
Oh, I think it's a great thing. I didn't expect so many people, but there are so many awardees today from all the sectors. But I'm glad that the minister has organized for the Duty Free Association and recognizing the duty-free shopping. So.
Tell me a little bit about your tourism journey. It's been 60 years, so you must have seen a lot, and a lot has changed. So talk me through your 60 years in the industry.
Okay, originally when I came, I started in the duty-free shops, but mostly my family, way back, has been involved in shopping. And our families that come from all the way back, all the names that ends with A and I, they all come from one sector. All doing mostly the shops business, and that's how we started. And at my young days, when I was born, 8 years later, India was divided into 3 sections. One became Pakistan, the other one was India. Now, during the time when the Pakistan came, I had to migrate. Being a Hindu, I had to leave the country. So finally, I studied in India, went to the school, went one day to college, and that's it. For 1 year, I went to Africa. I was there for a year and a half in West Africa. But being in the trade, as a trader, I came to Jamaica. My cousins were here already. So they told me, hey, you come down to Jamaica. So we started our business in those years. This was 1959.
All right, Alan Naswani, thanks for talking to us and congratulations.
We're ready to move into the next set of presentations, and so we invite Ms. Joy Roberts, Executive Director for JAMVAC, to present to awardees who've served for 52 years. Give her a round of applause, please. For 52 years, Isilda Brighton. Our next awardee for 52 years of service is craft trader Iona Hales Murray. And our final recipient in the 52-year category is Bertram Wright, Ground Transport Executive. Celebrating 53 years, Ground Transport Operator Sydney Bennett. Also celebrating 53 years, craft trader Myrtle Cargill. Hotel worker Owen Codlin is our next recipient, 53 years. Next is Frank Gilmore from the food and beverage category. We now move to 54 years. Let's welcome artisan craft trader Pansy Campbell. And we keep the applause going for Eulalie Downer, artisan craft trader, also celebrating 54 years. Winifred McFarlane, also celebrating 54 years as an artisan craft trader, ladies and gentlemen. Also celebrating 54 years, let's hear it for Fitzroy Miller, raftsman. With 54 years, raft captain Sidney Reed. The final of our 54-year awardees is ground transport operator Astley Shakes. First in this lineup with 55 years of service is ground transport manager Kirk Taylor. He is followed by, with 56 years of service, Bellman Donovan Anglin. With 57 years of service, we call on Raft Captain Uriah Samuels. With 58 years of service is artisan craft trader Dulcie Daly. Also with 58 years of service, craft trader Elgita Evans. Also with 58 years is craft trader Mavis Rose. Also with 58 years, craft trader Ronald Stevenson. The final of our 58-year awardees is ground transport operator Melvin Williams. 59 years as an in-bond merchant is a long time. Manu Daswani, congratulations. And the final of our 59-year awardees is ground transport operator Branford Marson.
Do you want more experience from your SUV? Introducing the 2020 Nissan X-Trail with leading-edge technology, intelligent ride and chassis control, a round view monitor, and hill start assist for confidence behind the wheel, plus auto headlights and panoramic sunroof. Drive the SUV with more experience. The Nissan X-Trail, available today at Fidelity Motors.
I'm Jean Laurie Chin, and I'm the Executive Director of Procom, ProDev, and CCRP. BATV had heard about our outreach arm, which is a Caribbean community of retired persons. I think BATV is having a very positive impact. And as a result of that excellent feature, we got more members. So clearly people are watching BATV. I always say to my clients, you should have a 360-degree campaign. Do not limit yourself to one media house. And especially those who are in business, I think it's very important to include BATV in their portfolio.
Welcome back to Business Access Television's coverage of the first Golden Tourism Day Awards. Let's head on back over to the stage to see what's happening.
Ladies and gentlemen, these people have served for 60 years and some for more. The first of the group serving for 60 years as an in-bond merchant is Indru Dadlani. Serving for 60 years is craft trader Merdilyn Scarlett. Ground transport operator Percival Thompson. Serving for 60 years, ground transport operator Desmond Tomlinson. 60 years, bartender Herbert Teddy Tucker. 60 years, craft trader Aldith McFarlane. From hotel management, celebrating 62 years, Lionel Reed. We move from 62 to 65 years. Let's hear it for hotel worker Wordsworth Watson. And when we add 1 year to that, we get the 66 years of service of Elez Glenn. The final awardee with us this evening, 67 years, in-bond merchant Pishu Shandaram.
6 years after Jamaica gained its independence, Eunice Thompson joined the tourism industry. That was in 1968. So she's been honored at this function here this evening. Congratulations. How are you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling very happy to know that I can attend in spite of I've got a sick foot, you know, and enjoy the tourism. I like my tourism and I enjoy the people them and the, you know, the tourists and everybody, black and white, everybody.
You know, I like how you say you like your tourism because I know it's people like you who encourage visitors and to come back and let visitors feel the warmth of the island. Now, talk to me about what it's been like for you in the industry.
Well, for me in this industry now, I gain a little money I send my 10 kids to school, and I still have my business.
Just talk to me more about just how much tourism.
People. I meet movie stars, I meet doctors, and we correspond and so on in my time.
Well, Ms. Eunice, thank you so much for talking with us, and on behalf of the entire Jamaica, I want to say thank you for your contribution to tourism. Donovan White, thanks so much for joining us here on our Business Access TV coverage. Sure. Just sum up your feeling of the night for us.
No, this is fantastic. This is exactly what we wanted, what we hoped for. We hoped for a room filled with persons who have worked in industry. We awarded people from 50 years to 67 years. These persons have never been recognized before. They've given their lives to tourism and the industry of tourism. And so for us to be able to reward them in this way and acknowledge their service in this way is phenomenal. And the room was thrilled with just appreciation and gratitude.
We've built a tremendous industry, a very successful industry on the backs of a lot of these people. Just talk to me about that legacy.
Well, you know what? We don't grow without the work that these people have done. We stand today, getting 4.4 million visitors to come to Jamaica, earning $3 billion US. It's on the backs of the works of these people over the last 60-odd years. And so it is that's part of the reason why we've created Golden Tourism Day. And Golden Tourism Day is really a signifying, or really is intended to signify the start of the peak tourism season, where everything becomes in demand within the industry. And it is these persons that have continually given this kind of quality service to the industry over the years, why we can have these kinds of numbers. And so it is very significant and very timely, we believe, in relation to making sure that we don't continue to go and continue to grow and go and continue to do new things without acknowledging the presence and the work of these people over the years.
Let's talk about the new things and some of the younger workers now in the industry. Because speaking to these awardees tonight, a lot of them was like, it's just the warmth of the people and the smile and all that, why a lot of people came back to Jamaica. So how do we use the lessons from these individuals to help grow the industry and to help influence the younger people within the industry?
Well, you know what? Like everything else, time changes everything. And whilst we continue to be an in-demand destination and ranked as the world's best in many spaces, we have to continue to look at how we train our people, how we develop our people, how we develop our industry. We're continuing to grow, but we're also continuing to change. Technology is going to help us with a lot of that. But technology is only a piece of the puzzle, because at the end of the day, we're still in the people business. At the end of the day, it's still about the experiences that our guests and our visitors experience when they come to Jamaica that makes them go away and take the selfie and post it and tag it and make Jamaica go across the world virally. So we understand the world we're in, but we also understand that in the world we're in and that we're operating this industry in, that we have to continue to change and get better as well. Congratulations again to all 57 of our awardees tonight. They range from 50 years of service to 67 years of service. That's phenomenal. I saw some of these ladies and gentlemen going across the stage tonight, and you would never believe the age of which they are today and the number of years they have served this industry. And so I just want to say to them, congratulations again. You've earned this honor, and you will forever be remembered as the first set of tourism workers, 57 of them, that was awarded on Golden Tourism Day, which, by the way, will become an annual event on the 15th of December, if the 15th is a Sunday. And if it's not a Sunday, then the Sunday following the 15th will be that day. And so we want to ensure that people in the industry, owners, operators, stakeholders, understand that this is a day when everybody must come out and support the people on the backs of whom we have climbed to build this industry.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
And we're now catching up with Inju Dadlani. He's one of the honorees tonight who has been in the tourism industry for over 50 years. But it goes further than that, because you said your father came here in the 1930s.
1932, and then they opened their business in Kingston, and then he was transferred in 1954 to Montego Bay by the Dadlani family.
Right.
And he went on his own in 1958 into fully tourism. And from 1958 till today, we never look back. We're always in the tourism. It's a different type of tourism we were in. We were in more souvenirs. We were in in cloth. And today we are in luxury, high value watches and jewelry.
So your business has evolved and kept up with the time. As the market changed, your business changed?
Well, the market has changed. You have Amazon. You have a lot of competition in the U.S. Luxury. The millennials are not so luxury love. They will spend $3,000 on an iPhone versus $3,000 a piece of jewelry. I know, but we are adjusting. We then have to pick it up in volume. We thank God that we have a dynamic minister pushing tourism to nearly 5 million tourists.
Being among the awardees here tonight, what does it mean to you?
It's an honor and a privilege.
All right, Mr. Dadlani, thank you so much. Congratulations to you and to your family, because it's a family tradition.
My pleasure.
Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett joins us now. Mr. Minister Bartlett, welcome to BATV's coverage.
Thank you very much.
The first Golden Tourism Day Awards, just some of your feelings for me right now.
Well, first of all, when I had the idea of making the 15th, 16th of December the Golden Day and to inaugurate this Golden Award, I thought that we over time had celebrated this as the start of the winter season. And we no longer have winter season, summer season. We now have all year round tourism. But in the psyche of the Jamaican people, it's still the 15th of December or the 16th of December. And so we decided to do just that. Yes, make this date still be a critical part of the tourism calendar, but in fact for a different purpose, for the purpose of honoring those on whose back we stand in this great industry today. The growth that we have had over the last 50 years has been phenomenal. No industry in Jamaica has grown consistently the way tourism has, and with the future and potential for even more growth. For example, early next year, we're going to be breaking ground for 6,000 more rooms. We're talking about bringing new products in, casino gaming with its attendant value added of entertainment and shopping and sports and maritime activities. Now, all of this is going to create a new demographic into the destination. And then to build up air connectivity with new markets, with the LATAM coming from Peru. For this winter season, for example, it's 11 new gateways that we've opened with 125,000 new seats coming in for this winter. So what we're saying is that to pause and reflect on what we've been and the journey, and then to refresh ourselves as we create a new vista for the next 50 years.
One last word of congratulations to the awardees tonight.
Yes, I want to thank them. 3,025 years of accumulative work and contribution to this industry. We wonder what tourism might have been had these people not done what they did. And so words are not enough to convey our feelings about them and our love and appreciation for them. I just want to say to them, God bless you all, and thank you so much for your contribution.
And that brings us to the end of Business Access Television's coverage of the first Golden Day Tourism Awards. We're coming to you from the Montego Bay Convention Center in St. James. We hope you enjoyed our coverage. I'm Kenil Gale. Pleasant viewing.
After being exposed to the myriad of career opportunities that exist in various industries, people usually move towards becoming qualified and adopting the means to becoming employed in the career they desire. However, just as technology has evolved, so have the prerequisites and skill sets to match what employers are now looking for. It's season 2 of Career Moves, and before we explore some of the emerging, unusual, and profitable career options, we visited the Job Bank and spoke to CEO Dr. Lakim Samaj on how best to sell yourself as employable. Learn new ways and sharpen old skills on this episode of Career Moves.
My name is Lakim Samaj. I'm a psychologist by training. I'm the CEO of the Job Bank. The Job Bank is one of the brands that we operate, the one that the public is most familiar with. And we give return on human capital, bank, job, so that some people think that we're an employment agency. No, we don't find jobs for people. We find people for jobs. So what we do to a large extent, companies will have us do their staffing. Company want to hire 10 people, 20 people. They will ask us to do the shortlisting. So we will do the advertising, we will do the psychometric testing, we will do the interviews, and then give them a short list to choose from. Now on the other hand now, we help people with making themselves employable.
Even before people decide on the job they want, it's crucial to get a resume in order. Dr. Samaj tells us how to get it right.
Resume is probably the single most important piece of paper, but in a large extent, it's wasted many times because people get bad advice. The resume tends to be written from you, the individual perspective. No, it should be written from the employer's perspective, that they can find what they want easy. It's not for you to put what you want to put. That what are they looking for? What can this person do? What can this person do for me? How can I benefit from employing this person? So the person should be able to get that as easy as possible. People have this notion the resume is to get you a job. No. The resume is to get you an interview. Having read the resume, somebody said, listen, I want to talk to this person. Now, the most critical information on the resume is what are your skills and what have been your achievements. A lot of time people leave those things off. They spend all the time talking about their job description, I did this, I did that. No, we don't need all of that. Your name, your address, your email. A resume without an email means that you're not computer literate. And an email that's professional sounding, not hot girl number 7 and bad boy number 6. No, you can't use that anymore, right? But the critical thing, what are your skills and what have been your achievements? Based on what your skills are, and by the way, most people underestimate the number of skills they have. They take into consideration just their formal skills. Your achievements you get from school, from work, from extracurricular activity. You're the president, you're the secretary of a club, yeah. You got the best grade, your team did the best project. All of these things are achievements because based on your past achievement, people can make assumptions and predictions about what else you can do. So that's critical. There's a notion that a resume should be 1 page, nonsense. Any amount of page you want it to be, but the most important page is the first page. Because if we're not impressed by the first page, we don't look for page 2 and 3 and 4. So on that first page should have all the critical information, as we said, how to get back to you, what are your skills, what have been your achievements, who are you? Typically, you apply for a job, the resume is pulled apart and photocopied, and pieces are sent to all the various people, so that you have no choice but to make sure your name is on every page. but the skills and the achievement critical. Assume that people who are reading resumes are largely over 30 and over 40 and probably wear glasses. So when you have some 8-point and 6-point fancy font, no. You want to use the simplest, most open, rounded font. You want to make sure that you have your margins and it's attractive to look at. It looks good. You know, it is well, the pages, the paragraphs and so on, even before you read it, it's appealing. So you want something that's attractive. Oh, no errors should be in it. No errors, no typographical errors, you know, no spelling errors, because everything there is amplified. Somebody said, my goodness, the person could even say this. So you don't want to tamper with your resume too much, you know. Once you get it right, you keep it right. Because each time you're writing a new cover letter, but you want to keep that resume, you may have different types of resume. Let's say you have a technical resume for technical positions, or you have a resume for teaching positions, because you can also teach. But you want to get that resume done right, properly proofed, no errors in it, because everything in it is used as evidence against you to a large extent. Another important thing on resume is a sense of continuous education. If a resume says you completed a degree in 2002 and we see nothing after that, implied is that your brain has stopped working since 2002. So we'd like to see the short courses. Now people tend to, over time, they become very numerous. You can just combine them together. Numerous courses in customer service, in sales, what have you. But the sign that there was some continuous education taking place, that's important. It should cover your work history, but over a period of, after a certain point, we don't need to go back to look at part-time jobs when you're in school, right? Because it will be clear where your work history starts, where your academic process ended, and the short jobs that were just before you got to what you are now, those can be packaged and put together and so on, numerous positions and so on, so on, so. But whatever it is you're packaging yourself as, but it should have your employment history. That should be packaged there so a person can see the progression that took place, how you went from one to the other, to the other.
You may be surprised to know these two things that more often than not are unnecessary to put on a resume.
The first fluff area is when you have this, what are your objectives? That's your private fantasy. Well, my objective is to own my own company one day, and no, we don't need to know that. So that's where the fluff begins, all these wonderful things and all the words you do. I'm a committed person, a team player. Everybody says those things. So I'd rather hear, what do you package yourself as? What do you see yourself as? And once we do that, here are my skills, here are my achievements. So things that are quantifiable, things that can be defined, things that can be verified. So if you say you have a particular skill, you should be in a position somebody asks you about it, you can tell them, here's what you do. Interest and skill are not the same. Skills are something you can do and you can do very well. Interests, literally again, that's private fantasy. The fact you're interested in, that doesn't sell anything, that I can't do anything with that. But I can build on your skills. I can use your skills. The fact your interest is what you use to acquire skills. If you're interested in something, you're motivated to learn it and to do it. Now, what are the skills that you have taken away as a result of this interest? So the interests are secondary. Anything they ask in the cover letter that you don't have, offer them something else in return. You require 3 years experience. I have worked for 2 years, but the things I've accomplished in 2 years is equivalent to probably 5. Sell yourself.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
The main factor would be uneducated people who aren't educated to work. That would be a big factor. People just kind of lackadaisical too and prefer the hustling mentality.
It's not balanced. Sometimes you send in your resume, it not necessarily means that you get the work. Because some of the time, they already know who they're going to get the position. Yeah, at that type of world we live in, or so Jamaica set up, who you know some of the time.
Punctuality, if the employer is there before, you know, when you are going to an interview, you have to be there at least 15 to half an hour before the time. And Jamaicans don't know time, so therefore that is one other factor.
Music has a lot to do with it. Music nowadays influences the youths to, think differently. So
I think employers are expecting them to have experience, and in order for them to get the experience, they need jobs. So that's kind of a oxymoron there.
They don't really want to do the work. All they want is just the money, and sometimes that don't really work. You know, you have to put in the effort.
Space got too much old people and hold some space where some young people should have take a real thing.
Lack of education prevents some people from getting a good job in Jamaica. Lack of a computer to write a resume has been getting me no job for a while because I want a laptop and a phone to get called in the first place. I can't get a job as yet. I want a job. So look for a job for me on TV. All right, love.
Want to impress a potential employer? Here's an idea.
Some outside the box kind of thing, Let's, for example, now, your resume, more often than not, is sent by email. You can have links in the email that take you to your website, take you to your portfolio, take you to descriptions of projects that you have done and so on. So it's nice and tight if the person wants additional information. And here's the last project. So, whatever things that you're doing that can be loaded on a website, now that looks different. Video clips, you can have video clips from projects that you did, things that you were involved in and so on. So you bring the resume to life. It could even have you making a statement, you talking to the person. So when you click on their active links on, those are things that are kind of out of the box. So, this person is thinking differently. And to a large extent, you're talking about your skills. If you say you have a skill and you can show them the skill, the best way to do so is via a link, a live link that takes you to a website or takes you to a page that you have uploaded.
Here's a good point to note when dealing with your references.
A critical element of job search is references. And I usually not encourage people to put the references on the resume, because one of the things that if the resume has the reference on them, people may actually call your reference before they talk to you, because they get the resume, they like it, they call the reference right away. By the way, is Annika what kind of person? No, if you haven't spoken to that person in the last 6 months, and they say, Annika, I don't know who that is. I mean, it sounds away. So that we usually prefer that, say that references will be furnished upon request. And the time that you give your reference list is many times after the interview, and they ask, do you have references? Could be, and then you tell them, yes, I will furnish it before the day ends, I will give them to you. Now, why I like to do that is that I much rather you talk to your reference before the person call them for information, because you want to be fresh in the reference's mind. So that talk to your reference. Oh, by the way, you said it was okay for me to use the other reference, right? And here's a copy of my present resume so you can see what I've been doing and where I am now. And here's a copy of the job I'm applying for. The only thing that's probably can get more weight than the resume that people again overlook is the cover letter. The typical cover letter is wasted. Dear sir or madam, I'm applying for the post of so-and-so, seen in the paper done, encloses my resume. Use the cover letter to answer every question you saw in the ad. Every question you saw, well, I have so-and-so and I have done so and I can do this. You draw from the resume to describe yourself as it relates to the ad, the position you're applying for. Anything they ask in the cover letter that you don't have, offer them something else in return. You require 3 years experience. I have worked for 2 years, but the things I've accomplished in 2 years is equivalent to probably 5. Sell yourself. So people read cover letter in detail, and then now they go to the resume to find the specific additional information. The sir or madam, I rather you not do that. Jamaica is a relatively small place. Do a little research, find out who you're writing to. It's more impressive. I am concerned when somebody writes to Lakem Samaj and Company. That's my company, that's the legal name of the company. And they write, dear sir or madam. No, you took no time to figure out Lakem Samaj and Company, even your wildest guess. So if you can figure out who's the HR man, who you're writing to, address your communication directly to a person. Dear sir or madam, you didn't do any work. It's very important that you do some research. There are people who just get desperate and they send to everything they see without any thinking, now, what do these people really do? What can I? Because there are ways in which, if you understand the company, if you know the company, you can even communicate with them even when they have no post being advertised. You can talk about their product, their services, but here's what I can do for you. Here's what I can add value. So the more research you do, the more information you have, is the more you're able to make the connection between what you can do for them. General business world realize that resumes have limitations because a resume is a self-report. Somebody made it up. It's like an advertising campaign. Somebody designed it and you can have it done professionally. So that we take it with a grain of salt. We look for things that are quantifiable and verifiable. So we know that. In the same way that an interview is a performance. Some people are very good at performing. They have good acting skills. So that's all part of the game, we know that. So that you want to make sure that whatever is on the resume, persons don't write it off as fluff or as just something that you're doing, but it's something that you can back up, because it's very embarrassing now. All these wonderful words on the resume, and when you turn up, you are nothing compared to the person that you purport to be in the resume. But the resume will get you in the door, it will get you an interview, but then whatever you have there, you must rise to the occasion and be able to defend what you have on that resume. If you are applying for a security job and everybody go just casual and so on, and you have on a long sleeve shirt and tie, them hiring you same time to be supervisor because you have upped the game.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
If followed, the tips given by Dr. Samaj should help you to complete an exceptional resume. But as he emphasizes, a resume is only the first step. Next is the interview.
The best preparation for an interview is a practice. There are persons who have never practiced interviews because it's a performance. So even have a friend of yours, please, you interview me now. Just ask me some questions and so on and things so you realize how you're coming across. And the wonderful thing now, we all have smartphones, so you can tape yourself. You know, see what you look like, what you sound like. Is your voice for a woman too high pitched? You kind of pull it down an octave or so. If you have all kinds of innuendos and little things, you want to edit. You want to get your voice into the more commonly understandable frame. Yes, we speak Jamaican and we speak English. So could you move your speech more to English? Because it sounds like, boy, you want to see, you know, boy, done it, you know, the last job, I'm going to my work, I shot the work, you know, boss. Cute, but it's not your brethren, you know. Hey, dog, no, you can't. You want to keep it as within the context. Let me talk about one of the biggest things that people overlook. To ask, oh, by the way, what kind of interview is this? Will it be one person interviewing me or a panel? It's a big difference, you know. And if it's a panel, well, who will be on the panel? If the HR manager and so on and so on. So because you need to position yourself. If you're being interviewed by just one person, it's easy. If you're being interviewed by a panel, it's a different preparation. I'm sure people can identify with this, that you had no idea it's going to be a panel of 6 people interviewing you. And when you walk in the room, you see these 6 people behind the table. And you take a deep breath and so ask that question. And just be clear, where is the interview? Exactly where, what's the address? And you write it down, and if you're not too sure how to get there and where to park and what bus, do the dry run the day before, because you can't be late for an interview. So ask those questions. You don't, listen, I couldn't find the place, you know, sir, and you're half hour late. No, all of those questions are things you get out of the way before. You want to make sure that you're properly dressed for the interview. Most women don't have a problem because if you take it from graduation, most women go to graduation and they look very presentable. They could go from the graduation to a job interview. The guideline for women is that anything that is too earrings, you know, the big hoops and so on, and when you're getting dressed in the morning for an interview, anything that catches your eye, take it off. You just want a knob or a small hoop. No gaudy makeup, whatever you normally wear, just as if you're going to work. It's not dance you're going, right? Men, I usually encourage them, all right, no bother with your ears ring today. A lot of males don't realize that sneakers is not shoes. And the basic thing for a man, a white shirt, long sleeve shirt, and a tie. Now, why white shirt? You can put any tie with it. If it's a management position, you must wear a suit. Those are the rules of the game. Now, if you go there with a tie and you go in, everybody's coming, and they may no, we don't need a tie, you know, that's what you can take it off. But if you go without a tie and everybody have on tie and thing, you're in trouble. So you go with a tie. I've told young men that, listen, if you are applying for a security job and everybody go just casual and so on, and you have on a long sleeve shirt and tie, them hiring you same time to be supervisor because you have upped the game. Nails must be clean. All of these things properly groomed. When you enter a room, people make decisions about you within 2 seconds before you open your mouth. What do you look like? How do you present yourself? So you're making sure that how you present yourself is not taking anything away from you. Once you enter the room, and with all due respect, you know, and your pants way down around your bottom and so on, and you are sending a cue that, you know, I want to look like thief. I want to look like, you know, so those kind of cues don't help you. represent something that say, I'm a professional. Whatever it is you're doing now, whatever it is you're applying for, persons must be comfortable with you. A smile as you enter, a positive handshake, you're offered a seat, you thank you. So all of that before you open your mouth.
This has been part 1 of our 2-part special on how to be employable. You can see part 2 next Tuesday at 8 p.m. here on Business Access TV.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange wishes to help to develop the social sector. To that end, they have formed the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, which is a safe, efficient, and transparent platform that aims to promote social projects that build Jamaica and will inure to the benefit of all persons living in the country.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange is a company that encourages and mobilizes capital for the main market. And that is the market that is not the social sector. Now, the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange is really geared towards the social sector to help to solve social problems in the field of health, education, about children, environment. Those are some of the things that we consider social problems. And so it is to mobilize the capital, allow persons who have a desire to invest in a social good, to invest in the social stock exchange. It is designed in 2 parts. In phase 1, where we look at social investment, and phase 2, where we look at social impact investment. Now, in phase 1, really what we are saying is it is donation. An organization will have a social issue and design it into a project or a program and invite Jamaicans or persons within the diaspora or the entire world to fund this program. Now in phase 2, you're going to get a return on investment which is not social. You will be getting shares, natural shares, as you would get if you invested in the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And what you'll get is a return on capital, which is possibly dividend or an appreciation in that share. The Jamaica Social Stock Exchange does more than ask for the funding of these programs, but goes beyond that in terms of monitoring, ensuring that these programs are meeting the targets and the reason for them to have asked for funding in the first place. When we look at this new sector, it is important because holistically, if you do not look on the social sector, you do not improve the other sectors. We want to encourage all businesses in Jamaica to have a corporate social responsibility because it is good for encouraging and the growth and development of businesses.
Good dental or oral care is important for maintaining healthy teeth, gums, and tongue for that perfect smile. Welcome to The Good Life. I'm your host, Amita Prasad Webb, and today we'll be visiting Sylvan Family Care to check out the options for your oral health. Stay with us. Hello, Dr. Greenpool. I'm Amita, and I'm here to learn all about oral care. Tell me a little bit about Sylvan Family Care.
Well, Sylvan Family Care is a medical dental facility, and the whole idea of this facility is that we have holistic treatment, meaning that people can come here and get dental care along with medical care, but it's not only to general practitioners. We have gynecologists here. We also have a surgeon on board. So we have a group of dental surgeons and a group of medical practitioners. So if you're here to get dental care done, if there's anything that's picked up from any of our dentists that work here, we can refer you to a medical doctor who is actually in the building.
So tell me about your years in practice. How long have you been a dentist?
Well, I've been in practice for about 9 years. I studied in Trinidad, St. Augustine, UWI, and I came home in 2007. I worked as an associate for about 3 years, and I opened my first practice, that is the Tooth Center. So that's been in existence for 5 years, and in July, I opened Sylvan Family Care.
Talk to me about the mouth. Why is it important that we, practice good oral health?
Well, as you would know, your smile is very important, and it's also a gateway to your system. For a lot of people, aesthetics is important, meaning that how people perceive you is very important in terms of your smile, but then you have the other aspect of it, which is the health part of it. And a lot of systemic diseases, their first manifestation is actually in the mouth, a lot of them. So they're identified in the mouth. So it's important that we have proper health care, oral health care, where we do our 6 months oral examination, and we look for many different things apart from systemic diseases and their manifestations. We also look at the health of the mouth, the gums, the teeth, everything, because it affects people greatly.
So what is teeth, or what are teeth?
Well, teeth, as you know, we can call them organs if we wish. In our mouth, we have up to 32 of them in our mouth, most of us. It consists of a hard outer layer, which is the enamel, and underneath that is the more sensitive part, which is the dentin, followed by the pulp. You have the cementum, different structures that build up the teeth. Well, we all know we use it for mastication, which is chewing. We use it helps with our speech, because some people who lose their teeth, they speak differently. So the gums is the pink layer that we see in the mouth, the soft tissue. Some people call it the gingiva, where the word gingivitis comes from, which most people are familiar with. Your tongue is a muscular organ that's in your mouth. We use it for chewing, we use it for speaking, we use it for tasting. We have a lot of taste buds, which we find on our tongue.
Oral health, what would that mean? Does that mean I have healthy gums, I have white teeth?
No, no. White teeth doesn't necessarily mean you have a good oral health, because people have different shades of teeth. They come in different shades.
Mm-hmm.
So what good oral health really is having a healthy mouth, and we're talking about a healthy periodontium, which consists of our teeth, our gums, the bone in our mouth, the ligaments that hold our teeth in place, the tongue being healthy, the gingiva being healthy, or mucosa being healthy, which is our soft tissue, because as you know, there are many things, as I said before, that manifest. And so even if everything is fine, you might have just a little white patch on the cheek, and that can signify cancer, oral cancer. So the good oral health is not just about let me brush my teeth every day. That's why it's so important to get your 6-month checkup, because we look for many different things in the mouth. So it's just everything being healthy.
What are some effects of poor oral health? Like not getting my checkups, not flossing, not brushing my teeth.
One of the most common things that you'll find is when you have poor oral health, or if you want to say not visiting the dentist regularly, I'll put it that way, is that we miss a lot of things, meaning that you end up with a cavity, and not every cavity is very obvious, because you have to come in, we do x-rays, we can find cavities that is in between the teeth that we can't see with the naked eye. Also, you have patients that complain a lot of bleeding in the morning, their gums bleeding, and that's just gingivitis that can exacerbate to something else like periodontal disease. People end up in a lot of pain. People have abscesses that form due to long-standing cavities that are not looked about. So there are many different things that happen with oral health. And one of the major things is halitosis, which is bad breath. A lot of people are not aware that it's happening to them, so they need someone else to tell them, and some people are not, wouldn't want to tell you that you have bad breath. So it's very important really that you come in regularly. As a dentist, it's easier for me to tell you, and you'll accept it from me much better than someone else telling it to you, or like your peers, right? So, getting your regular dental checkup, having things checked out is very important. A lot of things that people overlook, so it's very important.
What lifestyles would you say affect having good oral health?
Because good oral is so multifaceted, it's so many different things. Eating habits affect oral health, as you know, cavities, sweet things. There's also staining of the teeth, depends on what you eat. If you drink a lot of coffee, you drink a lot of red wine, it stains your teeth. There are other foods that will stain your teeth. There are other practices, especially in children. Children tend to suck their tongue, they suck their thumb, and it gives them what we call buff teeth, right? And that affects, it does not make it unhealthy, however, aesthetically, it's not pleasing, and then it can lead to other things like trauma. So it's easier to sustain trauma to the front teeth if it's protruded than if you have straight teeth. So these are some of the things.
So what would you say are some common oral health issues here in Jamaica?
What is very common? Cavities, what we call rotten teeth. Very common, very, very common. And because it's left alone for long periods of time, you find a lot of abscesses forming. So you find people coming with a lot of cavities and a lot of abscesses. So that's very common. And there are people who will go ahead and do extractions. So we find out we're doing a lot of extractions, especially in the clinics. If you go to the clinics, you find pretty much for the entire day they're extracting people's teeth, right? So that's very common. Cavities, decayed teeth, abscesses is very common in Jamaica. And we have a lot of gum disease. Because people are not taking care of their teeth, you find we have periodontal disease, which is very common throughout Jamaica.
You mentioned a lot of extractions. That's a last resort option, or is that the first thing that a dentist would do?
No, it's not the first thing. They're different depending on the severity of the cavity. There are certain cases where we don't have an option and we have to extract the tooth. That's just the prognosis is very poor, so we have to get rid of the tooth. However, there are other options. Root canal is an option. Root canal treatment, that's another option to save a badly decayed tooth.
What is a root canal?
Root canal, basically, let me put it in a nutshell. What we do is basically take the damaged nerve and blood vessels from the tooth. So usually when you have a cavity, reason why you have pain and abscess might develop is because the nerve is damaged, right? So we remove the decayed portion of the tooth, the damaged nerve, blood vessels from the tooth, make it sterile, and we actually fill in the tooth with a material, and then we can actually put a restoration on it.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show. And Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Welcome back to The Good Life. This episode is all about oral health, so check out our Need to Know feature. This week we are exploring oral health, and here are some things you may not have known. The enamel on the top surface of your tooth is the hardest part of your entire body. An average person spends 38.5 days brushing their teeth over their lifetime. Many diseases are linked to your oral health, including heart disease, osteoporosis, and diabetes. If you get your tooth knocked out, put it in milk and hold it in your mouth. This will help your tooth to survive longer. Make sure you see a dentist right away. No two people have the same set of teeth. Your teeth are as unique as your fingerprints, so be proud of your unique set of teeth. Like fingerprints, everyone's tongue print is different. Dentists have recommended that a toothbrush be kept at least 6 feet away from a toilet to avoid airborne particles resulting from the flush.
Here today, you're in our dental spa room. This is a themed dental operatory. We have 4 of them. So there is dental spa, there is our paradise room, the ivory room, and the kid adventure room, which is a kiddie room. The procedure that I'm gonna demonstrate on you is it's the regular cleaning, or we call it oral prophylaxis. This is a preventive procedure that we do similar to like fissure sealants. We do this to prevent gum disease, cavities, or it's pretty much just getting the oral cavity clean. Right? So that's what we're going to show you today. Cleaning, it ranges depending on the condition of the mouth. So it can take from 20 minutes and it can go up to probably 45 minutes. It's not a painful procedure, but for some patients it might be a little uncomfortable depending on whether they have gum disease or not. Usually when that's the case, we actually use certain things like gels, or some cases we have to anesthetize the patient to let the procedure go smoothly for them. But generally it's not a painful procedure.
All right. Well, doctor, let's get started.
So usually when we do this procedure, we think of safety and protection of the patient and also of the doctor. So part of it is wearing your protective eyewear, so the assistant will put that on for you.
Alright.
And I also wear a mask with a shield, and this is due to cross-infection control also. So mean that anything I have don't pass to you orally. And also I wear a glove. But between every patient, I change my gloves, so every patient gets a new glove. So you're also wearing an apron along with a bib. The purpose of the apron is to protect your clothing. So for instance, any fluids, whether it be saliva, water, so you wear a bib too. That's enough? So I will explain to you the steps that we just went through. The first part was the electronic scaling. We use a Cavitron where we go around each tooth, right, to the entire mouth. After that, what we did was a hand scaling, because sometimes the Cavitron is unable to go in between the teeth. So if there's any buildup, what we call tartar or plaque or calculus, we use a hand scale and literally go through every single teeth and actually get all that out. Then we floss. So we floss and get anything that we're unable to reach, floss that out. Then we do polishing. So we go through what look like a little toothbrush. So we go and polish the entire, that get rid of soft plaque that is on the surface of the teeth, all over the surface of the teeth. And it also it has fluoride in it, so it's fluoride releasing. Fluoride, what it does, it strengthens the teeth, the enamel of the teeth. So that's the purpose of the fluoride, really. You find that actually in water in Jamaica and in salt in Jamaica. You have fluoridated salt, and our water is actually fluoridated. So you can look out for fluoridated salt on over the counter and start using that. It helps to give kids fluoride.
What would you say to those people that are fearful, to go to the dentist?
It's not as bad as you think it's going to be. I know people might have certain experiences as a child, and that's usually the problem, as people have experiences as kids and they carry that with them. It's not painful as people think it is, and if there's anything that we do here at Sylvan that we anticipate would be painful for you, we actually have certain measures. We put certain things in place to make sure that you're not in any pain. Also, we try to have an environment that is very calming, hence the spa room. We try to, make it very calming. We actually have, as behind you, we have Netflix. So we have patients who are, say, a little apprehensive or anxious. We actually give them a chance to watch anything they want to watch on Netflix, whether it be a movie or listen to music, anything that will calm them down before we start any procedure with them. And the staff is very friendly staff, and they help in calming down patients before I actually come in the room. So, by the time I get here, the patient is relaxed and ready for me to do whatever I have to do. And normally I'm pretty gentle with my patients.
Hi, my name is Diane Plummer, and I'm the Managing Director for Your True Shade. So the program that I participated in was Creating Wealth, and it would give viewers an idea of the different processes in Your True Shade, taking the products from the raw materials to the production and then finally to the consumer. Being on Business Access TV has definitely impacted my business because since the feature was aired, I got a lot of calls asking about the products, where they can get products, and asking additional information as well. Another thing that I did was to actually link the video to my social media posts so that persons can actually learn more about the brand. So for persons considering BATV, I would definitely recommend it because you will definitely see the payoff for it. Persons will definitely be interested in finding out more about you as well as your brand.
It's the only show that traces the steps of professionals.
From first and second form, I was involved in some club, some activity.
Then gives information on exactly how to get into that same career.
You do need a good grasp of English.
And know you can branch out into whatever area you want to.
Tune in every Tuesday at 8 p.m. for Career Moves and catch up on all our episodes at batvja.com.
If you are just joining us, we are looking at oral health at Sylvan Family Care. Let's wrap things up with the various costs to get that perfect smile as well as tips to maintain it.
I am Cavell Clark and I am the office manager here at Sylvan Family Care. Here at Sylvan Family Care, we provide a wide range of services, dental services in particular. We do oral examination, cleaning, teeth whitening, denture repair, fillings. We do simple extractions, simple surgical extractions, and complex extractions. Simple extraction meaning if it's not your wisdom tooth, that is $5,000. And if it is your wisdom tooth, what we tend to do is to do an X-ray first before going in to do the extraction. The x-ray will pretty much tell us if the tooth is impacted, meaning if it's lying on its side, or if it's upright, it's something that we can just simply extract. If the x-ray comes back and it's depicting that it's not impacted, then we can go right ahead and take it out. It costs $7,500. If it is that it's impacted, then it could range between $10,000 to $20,000 because that's a surgical removal of it right there. Cleaning prices, they range from $6,500 and it could be up to even $9,000, dependent if the person smokes or they drink a lot of coffee. For filling, there's also a range. The most common type of filling that we do is a composite filling, which is pretty much the white one that we match to the shade of your actual tooth. So that's a little bit more expensive, ranges between $7,000 and $8,000. And then we have the amalgam filling, which is like that silver material or gold-plated material. That ranges from $5,000 to $7,000. So patients, they can decide which type of filling that they want. For whitening, which is also one of the popular procedures that we do here, you have two prices. So whitening, you can have the take-home kit, which is for $15,000, and then you have the in-office treatment, which is for $18,000. But before the whitening procedure, an oral examination and dental cleaning has to be done before that. And most of our dental procedures, they are covered by health insurance. We accept Sagicor and Medicus health cards. They usually cover 80%.
From time to time throughout the year, we do have specials. Or usually we give discount ranging from 10 to 20%. In Oral Health Month, we usually do a 20% discount.
In order for me to take advantage of my 20% discount, when is Oral Health Month?
That's in October. Every October, we have Oral Health Month across Jamaica.
So I have to mark that down on my calendar.
October.
What are some tips that you'd give to, everyday people that need to keep their teeth in tip-top shape?
What I would say is ensure that you brush your teeth at least 2 times a day. It doesn't have to be 2, it can be more than 2, but at least 2 times a day. In the morning when you get up, it's important that you brush your teeth, and before you go to bed at night, this is after you have eaten throughout the day. Don't brush and then have a snack and go to bed. Right. So it's after you eat at night, then you brush and then go to bed. Flossing is also very important. It's very important to floss because of a lot of food that get trapped in between the teeth that the bristle of your toothbrush cannot get in between. So it's important to brush often, use your floss, and also mouthwash is very important.
How often should I change my toothbrush?
Every 3 months. And not just that, if you're sick, if you have a cold, after the cold is throw away that toothbrush because of germs. So you change it after you have an illness like cold or anything like that, you get rid of the toothbrush, but generally every 3 months you change your toothbrush. And it's also important that you use a soft bristle. A lot of people think that because it's soft, it's not going to clean your teeth, but the hard bristle tend to damage the gum line. And so it's important that you go with a soft bristle toothbrush. And there's extra soft out there too for some people who have very sensitive gums. Extra soft is there.
For those people with small children, when should you start taking children to the dentist?
Usually you can start as soon as you say about 2 years old is a good time to start. What you do is try to get the child acclimatized because they tend to be fearful, and so we start them with just small things and get them accustomed to coming to the dentist. And at about, I'll say 3, we start doing their cleanings, not as obviously as in depth as yours, but we do a lot of hand scaling, a lot of polishing, and just get them used to coming here. So after they reach a certain age, it's like second nature to them to come to the dentist. Yeah. I know for some parents, they believe that because a child is going to change their milk teeth, or baby teeth, deciduous teeth as we call it, then there's no need to take them to the dentist because it's going to fall out. But that should not happen because a lot of times there's a sequence of events. It's how the teeth come out. They come in a certain order. Sometimes when the teeth are not taken care of, then they decay. Sometimes they have to be extracted before they're supposed to come out because they naturally exfoliate when they're supposed to. And that allows the permanent teeth to come up in the position they're supposed to come up in. So you find that a lot of kids will have jumbled teeth, impacted teeth because the teeth is unable to come out, there's no space for it. So a lot of complications happen. So it's very important that we preserve the baby teeth to allow for the adult teeth to come out the way they're supposed to. And also, it's important to take care of the kids' teeth because if they get cavities, it's paying them just like it would pain any other person, you know? So they have to take care of it because they do feel the pain just like us. If you get up in the morning and when you brush your teeth or you spit, you see a streak of blood in your saliva, that's indication you have gingivitis, right? If it is that you find you eat something like a piece of candy or chocolate or anything cold and you get a cramp, it might last for a short period of time, but then it go away and you ignore it, that's a sign you should go to the dentist. There are many, these are symptoms and signs that we look for that indicate bigger problems. And so these are just two common things that you'll find people, sometimes people have what we call a gum boil, and they call it a gum boil. It's just a gum boil, but it's really an abscess. It's really an abscess that's in the bone, and the pus, if you is trying to find a tract to come out, and it creates a gum boil. So people will see these things and it pain for a while and then it go away and then they're fine with it. But it's really an indication of a much bigger problem.
Well, there you have it for this episode of The Good Life. Today we visited Sylvan Family Care to check out your options for good oral health. I've been your host, Amita Prasad Webb, and remember, health is wealth.
I do have a dream, and I know you have a dream, that we can make Jamaica the place of choice for you to choose to live, to work, to do business.
We are going for the Jamaica we want. Making steady progress to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals in our National Development Plan, Vision 2030 Jamaica. We have teamed up with valued partners, working through strong institutions to reduce inequalities in our society. We commit to being responsible in our production and consumption, ensuring we build sustainable communities in harmony with nature. Jamaica is making significant strides in providing quality, lifelong education for all, enabling our people to be engaged in decent work to drive economic growth, equipping men and women with the skills to build resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industry, foster innovation, and utilize new technologies. Urgent action is being taken to manage natural resources responsibly, protecting clean water sources, ensuring access to water and sanitation for all, diversifying to alternative energy sources, conserving our environment and sustaining life below water and on land. Jamaica is making moves to ensure healthy lifestyles for the well-being of our people. We're promoting sustainable agriculture to achieve food security, improve nutrition, and end extreme hunger, putting in the work to end poverty in all its forms. We're on track in achieving our Sustainable Development Goals through realizing our Vision 2030 Jamaica. We will leave no one behind.
And I'm chilling right now, 'cause we're winning right now.